Most men aren't masculine. They are just mastered in the art of proving they are. You see it everywhere. The loudness, the constant need to be right, the over dominance, the emotional shutdown, the obsession with control. That's not masculinity. That's performance. That's a man trying to convince the world of something he doesn't fully feel within himself. Because real masculinity doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't rush. It doesn't react. It doesn't overextend. It's grounded. It's precise. It moves with structure and not with survival. But most men were never taught that. They were taught to suppress, to perform, to survive, to chase validation instead of embodying truth. So they built identities around proving strength instead of becoming it. And over time, that disconnection turns into pressure, and that pressure turns into proving, and that proving weakens the leadership, not externally, but internally. Because the real issue is not lack of masculinity, it's the maturity of it. And that leaves men with having, unprocessed emotions, distorted mental patterns and survival-based identities running the system. See, restoration begins the moment a man stops performing and starts confronting. See, when he faces the shadow, his shadow, it releases the distortions and recalibrates the mind. And that's when masculinity stabilizes. That's when structure returns. That's when leadership strengthens. This restoration happens with the mental recalibration session, where we systematically release the mental and emotional blockages, the negative mentalities and the unhealthy patterns and the misaligned behaviors and the survival-based identities that are weakening your leadership. And so if you're ready to strengthen the leader in you, DM me structure to mature your masculinity. Welcome to the Great Recalibration.